In Kileleshwa, it is 3 kilometers by 3 kilometers. It is a 9 kilometer square area. But you have 30 bars.
Wow.
30 bars.
And one primary school.
One primary school.
One amesema kiasi chako. Hallelujah. Robert Azai. Uendi mbinguni. Come on.
Did you listen to the Hot Breakfast this morning? Here's what you missed.
We've got a man who's hit the road running. He's hit the ground running, and he has said, we are turning Keleleshwa back to Kileleshwa. It's become a really, really noisy neighborhood. Umesema mambo ya Keleleshwa inaisha leo.
Kileleshwa lazima iishe. Keleleshwa. Turning back to Kile.
Kile, the beautiful leafy suburbs. Robert ALAI is in studio. How are you doing, bro?
I'm good.
Explain to a Kenyan, because you know the allure of politics, everyone thinks MP, senator, governor.
Yes. You know, this is the most important seat, especially for the cities and also the common man at the grassroots level. When you want to deal with the issues of health and agriculture and all the devolved function, it is a very critical seat, but it's the most ignored seat because people think it's too junior. But if you have the wrong MCA, and you have the right president, you might never get the development down here.
Yes.
If you have the wrong MCA, even if you have the right governor, you might never get the development. Because, you know, like today I've just realized, well, you know, and I'm also trying to experience the importance, even when in office already, that I needed to present my development priorities. So I presented mine for Kileleshwa. I consulted the resident through the neighborhood stations and the resident, the influential, you know, the agents. And they were able to tell me that, you know, we want this road done, we want this lighting handled, the water, the sewer systems, these are the pending projects, these are what have been started and have not been completed. Yeah. So you find that if you want a clean market, if you want good schools, if you want organized cities, if you want just order in the society, you have to have a proper MCA who knows, also understand on the processes, you know, how to legislate, on how to represent, to voice out the issues, and how to make budget for their people and so on.
I've been seeing, I even saw a list yesterday that's going around, and I think it's even trending. Even my estate group, which is not even near Kileleshwa, they're talking about all these bars that have been listed, but they're also talking about churches. So now tell us about the bars.
You know, the bars are all over, and you know, it's not the mistake of the owners of the bar or the entrepreneurs. The challenge has been that somebody has been pushing the vice economy from the CBD.
Okay.
Up to the residential areas. It has been out of demand, but it has also been because of the planners on this city have not been looking at what are the priority areas, where are we supposed to have the vice economy and to have the normal living conditions. What if you bring the residential areas, you mix them with the bars, what happens? So this is the challenge that now you have, because you want to have this minimum staggering distance. What happens is that you are a nuisance to all. You know, your residents in the estates cannot have peace at night. You know, people cannot even access emergency services. Just 2 weeks ago, my friend wanted to, the wife was almost giving birth at one of the apartments, which is right in front of the bar next door. It's called the Mark Apartments. So at the Mark Apartments, this guy's wife was having, you know,
pains and all that.
Yes, and then they called ambulance. Yeah, Red Cross. But these guys the ambulance couldn't access that place fast enough because the whole area
has traffic.
Cars parked on the road.
But you know, like now, bar next door, for instance, on Othaya Road, is right next to a hospital.
Yes.
And then there's the residential area. But now you know that the road is also very narrow.
The road is narrow. It is right next to a hospital, you know, institution which is very critical. It is in the middle of somewhere which is, you know, like if you bring the argument of the Mark Apartments and bar next door, the bar next door will tell you that, you know, Mark Apartments is also in the wrong because it has gone beyond the allowed limit
of floors.
Which is supposed to be 4 floors.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a back and forth, which is crazy. But you know, you say that now that one has been proved, it is going to take a longer time to reverse. But why don't we deal with the nuisance now, which is not only the noise and the vibration pollution,
Yes.
but now we have hard drugs right in front of your gate.
I know now that I've mentioned there on Othaya Road is right next to hospital. Right behind that bar next door is also next to Chiromo Lane.
Yes,
there's also a bar there.
Yes,
so what happens is who is that who's making these approvals? Because obviously you'll have the LR number, and the next one there is a hospital. How does someone just approve for a bar?
You know, the liquor licensing in this city has been a mess, and we'll talk to the governor to see how we can handle the complacency from the employee level, but because people have been getting licenses without the participation of the residents. You are supposed to deal with the sub-county committees, which has the residents, which has the Nakada leaders, has the security heads, and so on. So you find that somebody has just gone and paid maybe 1 million shillings or 500,000 shillings to somebody, a boss at the county.
This one doesn't go directly to the coffers, is what you're saying?
Doesn't go. The license is around 50,000 to 100,000. Okay. The line is very cheap. But you get, you pay a million so that somebody jumps all the processes. So now it comes to the act of corruption and impunity, which we need to handle at that level, and we'll talk to the governor on this. But when they have been licensed, they're also licensed with conditions. They've been told that you cannot park outside your premises,
which I think is also common sense. I mean,
if you have this piece of land, please have only clients who can fit on that piece of land. So then they have everybody. Now you can if you go to Kettle House on Fridays, the whole of that Mudangari Road
is a one long,
big stretch. Yes. So they want to deploy traffic marshals, so they want to privatize a public function, they want to have all their traffic marshals to handle that thing. But however long, whatever number of traffic marshals you bring in there, they might not be effective, because I'm very sure they have not been trained enough to.
They also have a reflector jacket.
To reflector jacket, maybe is a delinquent from nearby, which is offering him employment. But you need to know people who are professionals, know how to handle their cashiers enough. They know that it is not the road user who is on the wrong; it is them who are on the wrong. So they need to apologize when they're handling people who are already angry with them. Otherwise, it will people are almost fighting there every night. And sometimes when you find, because in the middle of the night you find people drunk and they're almost pulling out guns on each other, I think it's not a very good sight in this city.
I saw that whole list, and basically what they're saying, if I can read it, the county has approved the closing and the shutting down of this whole list of bars in neighborhoods.
And that's a very small list, because in Nairobi you have close to 12,500 bars.
12,500 bars.
Yes. Even the most developed cities, even the biggest San Francisco, you don't have this many bars. So these 12,500 bars licensed from the county, you find only 43 have been found to be a nuisance, which we think is a very low number. But still the 43 which are very notorious, so have been called to order. So I think they just need to change their rules. I would hate to see anybody close, because maybe it's driven by demand. I want people to have fun. I also drink alcohol. I am not against anybody's business, but if people are not going to get comfortable time, if people are not going to get easy time at home, it is going to be very complicated for me to just look and assume everything as normal, because this has been an issue. And if you ask these people, some of them want to stay faceless, so they don't even want to come for meetings. You tell them that, can we have a security committee meeting? Can you have a resident meeting? When we were engaging with the Kileleshwa residents, they didn't want to come. You tell them that, can we tell you what we expect you to do? Can we tell you what challenges you are facing with you guys existing here? A parent called me from Kapute Gardens, crying at night, in the middle of the night, 2 a.m., telling me that, we can't sleep. Can you just help us with this bar next door and Kettle House? So if you hear the cry of a parent who used all his savings to buy a 30 million house, 40
and they're
million.
Still paying for the next 20 years.
Yes. And they are being told to move elsewhere.
By the bar owners.
Yeah, by the bar owners. So you pay mortgage and then you want to pay rents elsewhere again. So how are you going to exist in this city? It's going to be too expensive to live in this city if you're going to go like this, because it's not everybody want to. And the city cannot develop also without the vice economy.
Yes.
So what we propose to the governor is that we set up special entertainment districts where you can have all the anasas and the fun. Koinange Street, just shut down the whole place. Remove
Jeff Jeff is the one who's got the title deed for Koinange Street. I don't know if in history you heard that story.
yes.
He's really invested. Senior Chief, Koinange High School, Koinange Primary in Nakuru, and of course that's Jeff. I like enjoying him.
Yes.
So, a lot of people don't want to go to town.
Yes.
So what will happen? Because I think also at some point when, the roads, they started, checking people who have taken alcohol, and then town with its insecurities, and then people make it convenient, minimum staggering distance. Where else besides town can you have the vice economy, like the bars and the...
it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be town only, because, you can have Westlands, Woodville Grove, that area of Havana.
Oh, that's where we used to go to when we were kids.
Yes. Then the other side in Syokimau, we look for an area, maybe, Baricho Road.
Yes.
Or we move up to Mlolongo somewhere, the shopping centers. We can find a very good way. We say that residential areas have to move away, or we see where the residential areas have not been brought in so much, that we make it an entertainment district. So this other side also, Wayaki Way, we can make the same. Gong. I think
it's just about now looking at the planning.
Yes, we just
bring down one or two things.
Yes. And people, I think, are going to enjoy themselves that way. But if we make everybody to have a bar right next to
a hospital,
in schools, 8 a.m. somebody's still playing the disco, dropping the hits, like the schools have opened. We are very responsible one. There are some if you try to call the owners, you tell them that, can you please lower this the volume? Can you please try to soundproof? I think I don't know the owner, but Era Aqua Gardens tried at some point to soundproof a lot. I think Miale also did a very good work in trying to do that one.
And making it a bit exclusive, so it's not in conflict with the neighborhood.
Yes, and also they're trying to create this cubicle so that people they are also a security fund, because they realize that the fund this person wants to have is not the same as the other person. So they might play the general music for everybody else, but in your own level, where you want to, how you want to have it. So I think there's some, not all barmen in this city are rogue, but there are some whom you talk to, they'll tell you how they know the president and so on. You tell them that, if you put the interest of the bars and the interest of residents on the table, I think the president will choose the interest of the residents.
Yes.
Yes, I think all the time. They don't realize that. So sometimes closeness to power makes people blind to reality, and they think that they can get away with everything. But it's only fair that they know that nobody hates them. We just want order. We just want to protect the future generation. We cannot even make babies anymore, but
and that is a major concern for Kileleshwa, brother.
Of our politicians.
So today,
yes,
what is the first course of action in regards to these bars? Because I know these parents want to see something happening, and you're the first MCA who has cracked down on the noise of bars. Let's start with bars. What's going to happen by the end of this week?
We are going to ensure that a lot of them play by the rules. The noise levels have to go down. We have talked to the DCI, the anti-narcotics. We have identified where they are only selling drugs. There are bars in this city who you don't even hear music. The music is very low. They're not even the noise level. You'll never get them the list of the noisemakers. But they sell hard drugs.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you find cocaine and heroin, right in the middle of estates.
Now, if someone is selling cocaine and heroin, they must know someone high up in the food chain who makes sure things just keep going. How do you deal with that?
Ruthless, thugs, nini. So you just tell them that, please. I talk to the DCI and I tell them that, can we have order? Can we have order? And the anti-narcotics, I hope that they're going to move in fast. The enforcement, the environmental enforcement of the Nairobi County is going to move in also to ensure that sanity is restored back in the city in regards to noise and vibration pollution. But also the planning department, we are going to talk to them, say, them down and tell them that, can we ensure that these people operate, but also they operate in a way that they might not inconvenience others. Because sometimes also we try to control the noise, but as long as they exist within our residential areas, there is no way you're going to have fun, because it is right next to your building. Even if they put the minimum volume, just the fact that
there's a lot of people,
the size of watts, yes, even the number of people there, it is just going to be a nuisance all the time. So we have to ensure that we create proper places for them to operate. The CBD is dead by 2 a.m.
or even earlier.
Yes. Why is the CBD a ghost town? 2 a.m., because people just decided, our friends, our Muslim brothers, they decided to buy all establishments around Jamia Mosque. So I think everybody thought that they can only do it around Jamia Mosque. So everywhere you have all these tall places, but nobody wants to have fun in the city anymore. Yeah, and also maybe the alcohol is to blame to an extent, but I think we need to bring back the CBD to life. We used to love going to the CBD at 4 a.m., at 3 a.m., but now you don't even want to pass, because when the vice economy left, then the criminals took over. There's a lot of muggings. There's a lot of robberies happening in the middle of the city. I think it needs not to happen like that, because there's always an order being brought with the vice economy in the CBD, because they try to the people hawking the condoms at night will be very good in collecting the intelligence, and the bouncers might try to minimize the guys who are violent.
Yes.
So I think that's what we need to try to bring for each other. If you are experiencing noise in your neighborhood, then please just write to me, mca@kileleshwa.go.ke. I will escalate this thing to the relevant department, but also will copy your MCA to ensure that they also are aware and they also try to respond, so that we act as a team. No single person is going to. The governor cannot do it alone. We cannot do it alone. Then we have to do it as a team. Also, we need the support of the society. Funnily, the bars is for upmarket sides of Nairobi.
So now you
in Kawangware.
Bwana amesema njia zako. Haleluya. Robert Uendi mbinguni. Kama unataka kwenda mbinguni, leta fungu lako la 10. From 6 p.m. till 6 a.m.
Hey, guys, pray. Everybody who is in serious problems always try to go to church, and sometimes some people drink them out, which seems to be the upmarket side of Nairobi doing. But now, if you go to Kibra, you go to Kawangware, Dandora, it is the churches. Embakasi.
And on Saturday night is the practice.
Yes.
Then now when the congregation comes Sunday morning, now they execute.
Now, in Friday, it starts on Friday, because they have to do the kesha to remove the demons for the weekend. So starts on Friday, June 5 p.m. You start. I used to experience that at Nyayo and Bakasi. And we talk to the OCPD, they go and close it. After 2 weeks, you hear they forgot that they already. So, I was very consistent with that, and I think that when we were there, we controlled it to an extent.
Yes.
But now you need to have a very dedicated leader, because fighting some of these things is very risky. But still, you need also to know how to work with various agencies. Like, because of my profile, I can easily work with the police. I can talk to the NEMA guys. I can talk to the office of the president. I can talk to a lot of guys. You need just to approach them. You tell them that we know what the law allows. We know what the law doesn't allow. If I don't know, please inform me, alert me. So, like yesterday, I was having an engagement with the city liquor licensing board, and they were telling me the challenges they are facing. But also the enforcement department was telling me the kind of mess they are in. If people employ their relatives into the liquor licensing department, then it's not going to help, stop the mess, because now there are a lot of vested interest, and you're not taking professionals. It's just nepotism in that department. So Uko, I think it's just working with leaders, MCAs. We are 123. So 123 of us have to put our hands together and heads together and work towards a common cause, which is just return the city to normalcy.
What's the best way to go about it effectively? Because I know people will call NEMA.
Yes.
And like you said, in 2 weeks we'll be back to normal. I mean, we are not against churches.
No.
We just want, because even as we pray to God, and I pray to Him silently.
The best thing is call the city. We'll try to make the city enforcement, the environmental enforcement, and also the liquor licensing department be very public about their contacts. The NEMA, the Director General, has been very helpful on this, and so the NEMA enforcement unit, we are going to ensure that they also come out and share their contacts in public, because for us, this is not a war only about noise, but I see people getting lost in alcoholism and drugs.
Because without the social halls, you don't have things to do. Without the playgrounds, kids will see that as a first form of entertainment.
In Kileleshwa, it is 3 kilometers by 3 kilometers. It is a 9 kilometer square area. But you have 30 bars.
Wow.
30 bars.
And one primary school.
One primary school.
One secondary.
One secondary.
And no
library, no library, no empowerment centers, no bookshop, nothing. And car wash has been used now to grab every piece of land. So it starts with a car wash, then it becomes a structure, then a permanent structure. That's how they grab the public utilities. Olengurone Road there, you will see one called Shiners. It's on a public land, with red overalls and so on. You see.
Is that the place where the chief's office is supposed to be somewhere there?
No, the chief's office is supposed to be right in front of the other one, also JM Lounge.
Yes.
Yes.
What happened to that? When will the chief's office be built? Or nijifunze kunyamaza?
Jifunza kunyamaza. A country never forgets. However long, even if it will take 200 years, the country will never forget where its public land was. It will never forget. So these people who have grabbed public land, built apartments, built what, there's a day you'll get somebody who is just as crazy as Magufuli and say, bring it down at your own cost. You bring it down and you still go to jail. You bring it down and you go to jail. So that one will happen at some point. Our country will never forget. Even if President Ruto wants to excuse it, President Uhuru excused it, and Kibaki excused it, it will come back at some point. And that's the bad thing about stealing from the public. Money you can disappear with and maybe nobody will get, but these fixed assets, utaificha wapi? At some point, the country will return it and will try to get its own.